big toe is connected to your knee, your jaw is connected to your pelvis, and that neck pain you've been treating for years, it might have started in your feet. Your body isn't a collection of separate parts, it's one long chain. And when one link breaks, it sends the bill somewhere else. By the end of this, you'll have a surgeon's map of 5 connections that explain most of the mystery pain people can't fix, including maybe yours. I'm Dr. Chris Rainer, orthopedic surgeon and sports medicine doc, not your everyday ortho. Over years of working with athletes, weekend warriors, and people just trying to get through the day without hurting, I've seen the same pattern over and over. The source of your pain is rarely where you feel it. Today, 5 connections. Each one is grounded in anatomy and biomechanics. Each one explains a pattern I see in clinic regularly. And at least one of them is going to reframe something you've been chasing. If you're new here, watch first. If you learned something, join the intern army. Subscribe. We're going to 1 million, smarter and harder to kill, yo. Here's the architecture. 5.
What's good with it, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute. So, why are we reviewing this video? One, because Dr. Chris Rainer is a boss. He's a motherfucking G. And he's got very valuable information that I appreciate. And as we are on our road, as we're on the road to becoming our best selves, we need valuable information to add to our lexicon, to add to our data bank, so that we can use it moving forward in our endeavors. All right, so the title of this video is called 5 Weird Body Connections That Cause You Severe Pain and How to Eliminate Them.
5 connections. 5 body pairs that most people, including a lot of clinicians, never put together. We start at the top, jaw and pelvis, connected by a fascial line that runs straight down the front of your body. Then we go to the foundation, feet and neck, because the way your foot hits the ground rewrites your spine's entire strategy. Then we get specific. Thumb and shoulder, big toe and knee, the small joints that quietly destroy the big ones when nobody's watching. And we finish with the one that surprises everyone. How you breathe is directly determining whether your lower back is stable or not. If you get this wrong, the price isn't a sore knee. It's a decade of treating the wrong address while the real problem compounds underneath. Before we go, which body part have you been treating for more than 6 months with no real issue? Drop it in the comments. I'm gonna see how many of them show up in these 5 connections. Connection number 1, the jaw and the pelvis. And I know exactly what face you're making right now, but stay with me because this is pure anatomy. There's a concept called fascial lines. Fascia is the connective tissue web that wraps around every muscle, bone, and organ in your body. Think of it like a full body compression suit that's all one piece. Pull one corner and the whole thing moves. There's a specific line called...
Check out the fascia video. Recorded a video, provided some good information on fascia. Check it out.
The deep frontal line. It runs from the back of your jaw, down through your throat, past your heart and lungs, through your core, and connects to your pelvic floor. One continuous fascial run. So here's what happens in practice. You're stressed, you clench your jaw, maybe you grind your teeth at night without knowing it. That tension doesn't stay in your jaw, it loads the fascial line. It can influence tension in your throat, your diaphragm, your core, and eventually show up in the pelvis as tight hip flexors, pelvic floor tension, or lower back pain with no obvious cause. I've spoken with dentists who now actively collaborate with pelvic floor physiotherapists because they see this connection regularly. Patient comes in for jaw pain, physio intake reveals pelvic floor tension. Nobody had connected those 2 appointments before. Now they do. Quick test right now. Are your teeth touching? Is your jaw locked? Let your mouth fall open slightly. Take a slow breath. If you felt tension release somewhere below your chin when you did that, that's the...
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I'd be remiss to tell you that I had no idea that this was even gonna come up in the video. I had no idea that Doc was gonna talk about this stuff, man, because I'll tell you what, man, just yesterday or today, however you want to call it, I woke up with the worst jaw pain on my left side here. It's definitely down lower, like by my like molar teeth. So, you know, I didn't even know that I clenched my jaw when I sleep. And that's even why basically, even if you can see why I'm talking now, I'm not making a lot of exaggerated movements with my jaw. It's not really on purpose. No, wait. It's actually on purpose just because, like I told y'all, man, I wasn't even gonna really say nothing about that, but that's weird. I mean, to me, it's kind of weird, but synchronicity, man, for sure. There's some alignment. I guess I need this information for myself because I also was gonna say, man, if there's one thing that kind of ails me on a like consistent basis, and it kind of hinders my training too. It sucks, but it's my right hip. Even like ever since high school, man, my right hip gives me issues on a consistent basis. I've also had like toe injuries too. Yeah, toe injuries are pretty serious, believe it or not. Just to like your overall structure and whatnot. And they were turf toes, like even in both toes, turf toe in both toes. Ridiculous. So that's a little bit of my background, and actually why I want to watch this video too. Overall, and just so we can again be aware of this information and just apply it where you see fit.
The deep frontal line. That's connection number 1. Connection 2 is where this gets structural. And if you've ever had chronic neck pain, this next one is going to reframe 3 years of treatment for you. Connection 2, your feet and your neck. This one is massive and almost nobody thinks about it. Your feet are the foundation of your entire body. Every movement you make starts with your foot hitting the ground. And if that foundation is off, everything above it has to compensate all the way to the top. Here's the mechanism. When you walk, your foot goes through a specific sequence. It rolls inward slightly to absorb shock, that's pronation. Then it rolls back out to create a rigid lever for push-off, supination. That's normal, that's the design. But some people overpronate. The foot rolls in way too much. Maybe it's genetics, maybe weak arch muscles, maybe years of the wrong footwear. Whatever the cause, that excessive inward roll doesn't stop at the ankle. When the foot rolls in, the shin rotates inward. That rotates the thigh. That tilts the pelvis. And your spine, which is trying to keep your eyes level with the horizon, curves to compensate. Suddenly, your neck is living in a permanent compensation posture. Not because your neck is broken, because your foundation is off. Think of it like a building. Lean the foundation 3 degrees and every floor above it has to correct for that. The top floor, your neck, is making the biggest correction. You keep treating the top floor. Nobody ever looked at the foundation. Simple test. Look at your shoes right now. Not the brand, the wear pattern. Is the inner edge of the sole completely ground down? That's a sign of overpronation. It won't diagnose your neck pain on its own, but if you've had chronic neck issues and that wear pattern is there, that connection is worth exploring with someone who looks at both ends of the chain. Here's the part that flips the whole treatment model. Most neck pain patients spend years in their neck. Massage, manual therapy, posture coaching, all aimed at the top of the building. And some of it helps temporarily. But if the foundation never gets addressed, the compensation never goes away. The relief is real, the fix isn't. Connection number 3, the thumb and the shoulder. This one I see.
Yo, this is all pretty huge, just in general, man. Like I was telling you about my feet and like my toes. Like, dude, my knees click, my hip clicks, shoulder clicks too. And I actually just started taking like this collagen supplement, just seeing if it works, seeing what happens, see if there's any significant changes. But Yeah, the interconnectivity of all these specific uh, joints, bones, ligaments, it's the real deal, man. So if you ever find yourself experiencing issues in these areas, now you'll be able to like connect certain dots that you weren't able to before.
Most often in training related injuries, and it's almost always the missing piece. Someone comes in with shoulder pain, struggling with overhead press, can't do a pull up without discomfort. They've already convinced themselves it's the rotator cuff. Maybe they've done an MRI, it came back unremarkable. PT hasn't moved the needle. And then I look at their hands. The thumb and the shoulder aren't obviously connected, but in terms of movement function, they absolutely are. The muscles and nerves controlling your thumb and hand are integrated with the systems that stabilize your shoulder blade and arm. When you grip anything, a barbell, a pull-up bar, even a steering wheel, the signal chain goes all the way up. Here's the failure mode. You've got undiagnosed thumb arthritis, or an old thumb sprain that never fully healed, or chronic thumb tendonitis from gaming, drumming, or repetitive work. Every time you grip something, that pain or instability changes how your entire upper limb fires. Your brain senses the problem in the thumb and starts compensating, slightly altering shoulder muscle activation to protect the compromised grip. Now your rotator cuff is doing work it wasn't designed for. Your shoulder mechanics drift, and over time, that compensation contributes to impingement, tendonitis, or the early stages of a tear. I once had a powerlifter, strong guy, serious about training, who kept flaring his shoulder. We ran everything. His MRI looked fine. Then I noticed that he was gripping.
I think I got a feeling on what he's gonna say next. I would even say for myself, with nearly, I would say 15 years of experience of, working out, performing athletics at a certain level, and even bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding, lifting weights, training, you know what I mean? Dude, form and technique is unbeatable. It just is. Yeah, form and technique is unbeatable. It just is. And after you've been lifting for so long, you have to become really creative. You have to become really creative. No joke. So, I think I know what he's going to say. It's basically the slightest tweaks, the slightest changes, alterations in your positioning while you're performing the lift, performing the workout, is going to make all the difference. It's going to make all the difference. And if you train a certain way for a certain period of time, you're obviously going to develop, muscular dependency, and you're going to develop potentially the wrong way. It's possible. It happens all the time. And then somebody has to perform corrective training to fix the problem. So it's important to have the good information from the beginning so you can make the right decision.
The bar asymmetrically. Turned out he had a ganglion cyst in his thumb joint he'd been ignoring for 2 years because it didn't really hurt. We treated the thumb. 6 weeks later, the shoulder pain was gone. If you've got shoulder issues that won't resolve, take a close look at your thumbs. Range of motion, pain with grip, any swelling or stiffness. Your shoulder joint just might be paying the tab for something 2 joints south. Okay, 3 connections down. We've covered the fascial network from your jaw to your pelvis. We've covered how your foot's movement pattern rewrites your neck's posture. And we've covered how a small joint problem in your thumb can destroy your shoulder mechanics. But here's the shift I want to make before we go to connections 4 and 5, because these next two are the ones I see cause the most preventable damage in active people. Connections 1, 2, and 3 are mostly about compensation spreading up or down the chain over time. What I'm about to show you is different. Connections 4 and 5 are about structural failure modes, where a small ignored problem creates direct mechanical damage to a much bigger joint. Not eventually, with every single rep and every single step. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact mechanical sequence that turns a stiff big toe into a blown out knee, and the breathing pattern that is actively destabilizing your lower back right now.
See, this is why I mess with Doc's information, man. Real orthopedic work. Real. Not your everyday ortho. Shout out to my guy. This is real, man. Knowing how you breathe, how that affects your overall well-being, man. So many people breathe off balance, off cadence, irregularly, you know. Just not a good rhythm. That contributes to anxiety. It contributes to your mental health, your overall well-being. So I'm gonna let them cook. This is the information I'm into. This is the real good stuff. Real good stuff.
Now, during every set you lift. That number. Every step. 4 years. That's what connection 4 looks like when nobody checks it. Connection 4. The big toe and the knee. This one is my personal favorite because it's so specific and so consistently missed. Your big toe is not just for balance. It's one of the last things to leave the ground during every step and every push-off. For that to happen efficiently, it needs to bend upwards. That's dorsiflexion, to around 65.
Oh yeah, too. If you don't know about turf toe, man, read about it. Look it up. It's horrible, dude. And it's exactly when you're performing this movement right here is when you experience like the most excruciating pain right in your big toe ligament. And to have that in both feet. Yep. That shit sucks. But there's a way to strengthen your toes, your feet. Barefoot training helps. And doing work in like the sand. Maybe adding some like resistance bands to your feet. And then just, I would say overall, just whenever you are like barefoot or wearing any pair of shoes, just be mindful of how your foot strikes the ground, the way it strikes the ground. And that can help strengthen your foot too.
5 to 70 degrees. That range is what creates the lever your calf and foot need to generate forward momentum. But a lot of people lose that mobility. An old toe injury that never healed right. Early arthritis, hallux rigidus. Decades in narrow shoes cramping the joint. Whatever the cause, when that big toe won't bend far enough, the body has to find another way to push off. The most common compensation, the foot externally rotate, turns out slightly. This creates a different lever for push off, but it changes everything above it. That external rotation changes how your kneecap tracks. It increases load on the medial compartment, the inside of the knee, where the MCL lives and where the medial meniscus sits. It disrupts patellofemoral tracking, how the kneecap glides in its groove with every step. This is not occasional. This is every single step, every single rep, every single time you walk across the parking lot.
What he's explaining is exactly what it's like when you get turf toe. It's horrible. I was working security at the time when I experienced this. And needless to say, man, yeah, I was walking on the outside of my foot for like months. It was horrible. I went through so many different pair of shoes. Find the ones that had the most stability. Big toe injuries ain't shit to play with, man. It's horrible. And you kind of really do feel the effects and ramifications, I think, for the rest of life. So it is what it is. All right, let's go do it. All right, I think my belly hand moves first and chest hand moves second. One more time. Let's see. Not bad.
Top one, you're a chest breather. Your diaphragm isn't doing its job. Now try again, consciously directing your breath into your belly so that the bottom hand rises first. That's diaphragmatic breathing. That's what your spine is waiting for. One of the biggest mistakes I see in both athletes and everyday people is focusing only on what happens in the gym. They'll track how much weight they're lifting, how fast they're running, or how many calories they're burning, but they completely ignore how their body is responding to that training.
Perfect time to talk about how, bro, I recently started taking 3 days off, dude. Like, I basically work out Monday to Thursday, basically. I basically work out Monday through Thursday. And I've been experiencing some good results. I think after all this time, I was probably just like burning the candle on both ends, just doing too much. And like these days, man, 4 days in there a week, I'm feeling good about that. And on days 5, 6, or 7, I just really started doing this. But I might do some core, some bands. I might do something. But I'm probably just not like in the gym trying to push the weight. That's just not where I'm at right now. So, yeah, I'm active for about a good 4 days a week. And of course, still implementing intermittent fasting on some days. That's another change. That's another change that I've been making. Is that, bro? I've been eating breakfast. I've been eating breakfast. Sometimes it's a simple breakfast sandwich in the morning, or like, some, still simple breakfast: eggs, bacon, potatoes, something like that. And again, trying to get some good rest at night. I would say maybe 6 to 7 at most. Sometimes it's just like 6 hours, sometimes 5. Sometimes I go to sleep at 1 o'clock, gotta be up by 5, 12 o'clock. You get the point. I'm usually waking up at like 5 a.m. every day. But yeah, it's some real good information.
As an orthopedic surgeon, I'm interested in something different. I'm interested in trends. Is your recovery improving? Is your sleep getting better? Is your body adapting or slowly getting run down? That's one of the reasons why I've been wearing the Ringcon Gen 3. Over the past several weeks, I've been using it to monitor my sleep quality, heart rate variability, vascular trends, stress levels, blood oxygen, heart rate, respiratory rate, and daily activity. And that vascular trends feature is important, especially for people who train regularly. Metrics like sleep, HRV, and stress can give you a better sense of how your body is responding in the short term, but over time, the way your body handles training, recovery, stress, and sleep may also influence your vascular health. So having a feature that helps me follow those longer-term vascular trends adds another layer of insight beyond just asking, did I recover from yesterday's workout? What I found most useful isn't any one single number. It's seeing how those measurements change over time. If I have a few poor nights of sleep, increase my training volume, or clean up my diet, I can actually watch how those trends respond. That gives me a much better picture of my overall recovery than simply asking myself, do I feel tired today? No wearable replaces good medical care, but having objective information about how your body is responding can help you make smarter decisions about training, recovery, and overall health. If you'd like to learn more about Rincon Gen 3, I've included a link in the description below. 5 connections. Now, how do you actually use this? 3 types of people are watching this. Group number 1, you have a current pain that hasn't responded to treatment. Go upstream. Don't just treat the address. Map the chain above and below the pain site. Use the home tests in this video as a starting point. Bring this framework to your next appointment. Have you looked at the joint above and below? Group number 2, you're training hard and managing a recurring injury. Audit the small joints, big toe mobility, thumb range of motion, jaw tension, breathing pattern under load. These are the things that get missed in standard injury assessments because nobody thinks to look there. Group number 3, no current injury, just curious. Run the home tests anyway. Wear pattern on your shoes, big toe mobility, belly versus chest breathing. These are your early warning system. Catch the compensation before it becomes degeneration. Red flag for all 3 groups: if you have pain that's been present for more than 3 months, is getting progressively worse, or is accompanied by neurological symptoms, weakness, numbness, tingling, that's not a kinetic chain problem to self-diagnose. That's a clinical assessment. Get it seen. Which of these 5 connections was most surprising to you? And does it map to something you've been dealing with? Drop your connection below. So, the jaw and the pelvis, the feet and the neck, the thumb and the shoulder, the big toe and the knee, the breath and the lower back. 5 connections, 1 framework. And the framework is this: your body doesn't treat the site of pain as the source of pain. It treats the whole chain. When you treat it that way too, will a clinician who thinks chains, not addresses, that's when the things that wouldn't move start moving. If you've been treating the same pain for 6 months and it keeps coming back, the problem isn't your persistence, it's the address you keep going back to. If you want to go deeper into any of these, especially the kinetic chain in training injuries and how I assess them in clinic, subscribe, turn on notifications, and watch my breakdown of how the knee actually fails in overhead athletes. Because connection 4 in this video.
Huge shout out Dr. Chris Rayner. As you can see, hold up, fuck it, right there. Shout out Dr. Chris Rayner. As you can see, subscribe to his channel. You see the name right there. Great information. I'll probably end up revisiting information from his channel several times. So yeah, I had no idea how relevant that video was gonna be right now. I was just thinking like, damn, I made this folder for a reason. Let me use this folder. So came across the video, thought it was a good time to do it. Want to share that with you guys. Hope you were able to take something away from this video. Like the video. Share the video. Of course, most importantly, subscribe to the channel. I love y'all, man. Hey, wait for the next one. Wait for the next one. The next one. Next one. Hey.